Good morning. This is Mike Houston with your Tuesday morning weather hazard briefing for southeast Idaho. Looking at satellite imagery this morning, we have a low pressure trough across the northwest states, and you can look further out into the Pacific there. We see a low pressure system here beginning to make its way through the base of that trough. Out ahead of this, we have copious amounts of moisture streaming up out of the Pacific across California into southern Idaho, producing broad area of rain and snowfall across southeast Idaho. As a result, we have a number of areas with road closures, mostly in the mountainous areas here, extending up into Island Park. Advancing to our forecast charts, we see that low pressure system sticks around through the day today, and the moisture continues to stream up into southern Idaho. The 12-hour snowfall amounts here are indicating anywhere from 4 to 6 inches here in the central mountains and upwards of 8 to 10 inches here across the eastern highlands. So we'll continue to maintain warning level snowfall in our mountainous regions. The valley locations quite a bit less, and in fact the model is probably over forecasting snowfall down here due to warmer temperatures. We'll take a look at that in a second. And looking at the maximum temperatures expected today, we have readings in the 40s here within the eastern Magic Valley, extending up through Pocatello to Blackfoot. And if you get up into the central mountains, we're in the upper 20s and lower 30s. And across the eastern highlands, squarely in the 30s, so enough to support snow in these regions here. Our snowfall that we are expected from 6 a.m. this morning till 6 p.m. this evening will be generally 3 to 5 inches here in the central mountains. You can see some areas here getting up to 6 to 8 inches. And as I said, continuing to maintain warning level snowfall in the mountains, central mountains here. And similar readings across the eastern highlands. Not expecting much in the way of any accumulations here along the I-84, 86, and I-15 corridors from Blackfoot southward to Burley due to the warmer temperatures. But if you get to Idaho Falls and northward, we could see some accumulations running up into some of these higher locations here near Du Bois and Ashton. Yes, we will have some wind today. Going to continue to see some wind speeds running in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range throughout the Snake River Plain here and much of the intermountain regions. So enough there to be pushing snow around and causing some blowing and drifting issues, primarily for our highways. Advancing to Wednesday afternoon, we had that low pressure system still hanging strong here. That low pressure system that I pointed out earlier in our satellite imagery is now rotating through the base of this trough. We are seeing some fairly decent precipitation again through the central mountains for this 12-hour period during the day Wednesday and across the eastern highlands. Still going to be probably too warm down here in the Snake River Plain to accumulate any snow, especially with temperatures in the upper 40s here, running upwards of the upper 30s up towards Idaho Falls. So probably in most of these regions here we'll see nothing but rain. But you get off into some of these bench areas and certainly up into the central mountains and eastern highlands that'll be cold enough to support snow in those regions. Again, expecting accumulations in the central mountains anywhere from 6 to 12 inches tonight through Wednesday, and similar readings here across the eastern highlands, running from Island Park all the way down to the northern Wasatch Range. Again, from Idaho Falls southward through Pocatello and off into Burley, not expecting any accumulations due to the warm temperatures. And again, we will continue to see wind going through Wednesday. Here we are looking at wind speeds of 15 to 20 miles per hour throughout most of the Snake River Plain, so certainly enough to be pushing any loose snow around. And with that, as I mentioned, we'll continue our warnings, winter storm warnings here across the central mountains. These colors in pink represent the winter storm warnings. And also continue those here across the eastern highlands. Due to the mixture of wind and snow, we're going to continue the winter weather advisories here across the Snake River Plain, extending up into the inner valleys of the Central Mountains, and then some of these areas into the Southeast Highlands. And like I said, these warnings and advisories will continue through Wednesday afternoon. Taking a look at Thursday, okay, finally, this low pressure system is beginning to push east through the panhandle towards western Montana. We should see a pretty good boost of precipitation early in the day on Thursday, with a strong cold front moving through southeast Idaho during the afternoon, with temperatures and snow levels falling to valley floors here throughout the Snake River Plain. So daytime highs on Thursday will probably probably around noon or shortly before noon, of about 45 degrees down here in the Magic Valley, upwards of the upper 30s here at Idaho Falls and Rexburg. So certainly in the morning hours, enough to support rain in this area. And throughout the Central Mountains and Eastern Highlands, temperatures cold enough to support snow. But once we get into the afternoon hours, things cooling off rapidly. Probably see snow throughout the entire region. The storm totals so far for Wednesday night through Thursday, again, looking at a broad area of 3 to 6 inches here in the Central Mountains, with some areas getting upwards of 6 to 8 inches here. And similar readings here of 3 to 6 inches throughout the Eastern Highlands. So a little less snow, but certainly a lot of wind on the day on Thursday. So I would expect that the day shift today will probably extend at least some of those highlights out into Thursday. Probably these areas that had warnings in them, we'll probably downgrade those to advisories, just primarily due to the wind that'll be moving through the area with that cold front Thursday afternoon. And here is a depiction of the winds there that I was talking about on Thursday afternoon. Certainly strong, 25 to 35 miles per hour throughout the region. So certainly enough to push around any loose snow that we have from the last several days of winter weather. All right, jumping into Friday, that low pressure system now pushing off to the east, a strong polar vortex here in central Canada. We do have some lingering low pressure off the Oregon coast, but primarily we'll be under a dry, relatively dry west-northwest flow here across Idaho. Maybe upwards of an inch or inch and a half here along the Montana-Wyoming borders, but the valley location should be relatively dry and cool, with daytime highs now running in the teens in the Central Mountains to mid-20s, and 20s here in the Eastern Highlands, and barely breaking the mid-30s down here in the Eastern Magic Valley for highs on Friday. We will continue to see some wind, primarily in the Eastern Magic Valley, lower Snake River Plain. Wind speed should be dropping off here up into the upper Snake Highlands, but certainly if we do get any snow, it would be blown around down here in the Eastern Magic Valley. Okay, jumping ahead, we should be relatively dry going into Saturday. You can see the next storm system making its way into the California coastal areas here Saturday afternoon, and the leading edge of this precipitation should be spreading into the southern Idaho border regions by Saturday night and continuing through the day on Sunday as that progresses east. Get a break as we go into Monday and Tuesday, but by Wednesday, the next storm system pushing in through the northwest states, and we get another shot of moisture coming on Wednesday afternoon. Okay, that's all I had for you here this morning. If you had any comments or questions, please give us a call here at the number on the screen. Thank you.